Because this chapter is all about factoring, which is like it goes with division, it's the reverse multiplication, it makes sense to make sure that we are confident about how to first multiply. Let me take a step back. If I know that 2 times 5 is equal to 10, then I know that these are factors of 10. Similarly, if I know that x plus 2 times x plus 4 is equal to, and this is review, we did this last night in mixed review as well, x squared, it's our super distributive property, plus 4x plus 2x plus 8, or x squared plus 6x plus 8, then even though these don't look like numbers, remember everything that we do in algebra is really the same as what we would do in arithmetic. Since this times this equals this, then these are factors of x squared plus 6x plus 8. Now, if I look at this a little bit more closely, looking at the vocab, we were looking at the problem x plus 2 times x plus 4. And since these have two terms, they're each called binomials. You know from your Greek and Latin roots that bi means two. They have two terms. And very often, when I multiply binomials together, as we saw in this case once we simplified, it equals a trinomial, which has three terms. And you will see a lot of our work in this unit is going to start with something that looks like this and work backwards to, or factor, to figure out what the factors are. It's just like prime factorization. We're going to find out what the building blocks of those trinomials are. Before we do that, though, it makes sense to really get our multiplication down cold. And though you already know how to do this, there is an acronym that goes with multiplying binomials together. It works when we're doing two binomials, and then the product is often a trinomial. So, looking at a new one, let's say 2x plus 3 times x plus 6. I can see that in each of these binomials, the first term are the ones that I just underlined. So the acronym is called FOIL, F-O-I-L, and the F stands for first. Actually, I'm probably too close there. Going to move this down. First. And it simply means the first terms of each binomial. And so if I were to write this like this, I'd say first. The O stands for outer. And that just means you can see it on the outsides. They're on the outside edges of the two binomials. So that stands for outer. The inner are the inside. That's inner. And the L stands for last. That's FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. First, in this problem, gives us 2x squared. Outer gives us 12x. Inner gives us 3x. And last gives us 18. When I combine my like terms, I get 2x squared plus 15x plus 18. What that tells me is that 2x plus 3 times x plus 6 equals 2x squared plus 15x plus 18. That makes 2x plus 3 and x plus 6 factors of 2x squared plus 15x plus 8. So you may be asking yourselves, with doing anything mentally? Well, as I put in the very first slide, you're doing it mentally or not. Each one of you needs to know whether it makes sense for you to do these mentally or not. Let's take a look at that. Let's say x plus 7 times x minus 3. I can see that first is x plus x, outer is x times negative 3, inner is 7x, and last is negative 27. So first is x squared. Outer is negative 3x. Inner is 7x. When I combine them, I have 4x. And then last gives me negative 21. So the choice you have is whether you can hold these two terms in your head and just write this down once. It's not a big thing. If you think that you're not going to be accurate, then don't do it. But a lot of you just love to take shortcuts and make things as simple as possible. So let's try one and see if you can hold it in your head. If I say 2x plus 1 times 3x plus 5, first will give me 6x squared. Outer is 10x. Think that in your head, 10x. Inner is 3x. So you can either write down 10x and 3x, or you can just say in your head, I know that 10x plus 3x is 13x. And last gives me 5. Your homework tonight will give you ample opportunity to practice these things, and you can decide whether you want to be somebody who does it mentally or not. Either way, becoming very efficient with multiplying binomials and getting that trinomial is the first step toward being good at looking at the trinomial and working backwards to see what the factors are. And that's where we're going next. One other elaboration on this theme would be if I say y times 4y plus 3 times 2y plus, said y, but wrote x, 2y plus 1. As you can see, I've got 3 things multiplied together. I haven't seen this y out here before. But let's not forget, these are really representing numbers. This is a number. This is a number. This is a number. And when I multiply them together, I will get their product. Now, if I asked you, how do you multiply 2 times 3 times 5? Oh, if you know this, you could either do 2 times 3 and then multiply that by 5, or you could say 3 times 5 and multiply that. Any way you do it, you get 30. It doesn't matter what order you multiply these in, you're going to get the same answer. So just like always in algebra, what's true in arithmetic is also true in algebra. So we have a choice. Do we want to multiply y times 4y plus 3 first? Or do we want to multiply 4y plus 3 times 2y plus 1? You have the right to do it any way you want, but I know that I personally like to take care of these two first because once you have got the hang of it, FOIL makes that pretty easy. So I'm just going to bring down my y on the first step. I'm going to say first gives me 8y squared. Outer is 4y. Inner is 3y. Inner is 6y. 4y plus 6y is 10y. And last is 3. First, outer, inner, last. FOIL. Now, to distribute the y over each of these terms is pretty simple. I'm just going to say 8y to the third plus 10y squared plus 3y. And we're done. Again, it's okay if you prefer to write down 6y and 4y gives you 10y.